there's a lot of artists who came, not just artists, public figures who came kwa maandamano kuonekana. And I was like, you'd rather not come, because a lot of them derailed the movement. Walikuwa wanakamuka kupiga maselfie na watu.
Yeah.
So unapata kuna crowd ya watu wengi wamesimama Koinange Street na tunawanid hapo parliament. Unaget? So tumeluzwa wase wengi juu kuna watu ni bandwagon,
Yeah.
unaget? Na mimi na believe lazima uko na amini hiki kitu na unataka kuidundo uifanye. Otherwise kama unaifanya tu ndo uonekane. Yeah, and I think that's the problem with saying artists should just do it, because there's a lot of people who just do it
to be seen,
to benefit from it, and not necessarily because they even care about it, you know. A lot of people who are caught in between because they don't know how to go about it, to go about their work still, but still be an instrument or a voice for this. But I do think it's important for us to be a voice for the people, because pia mimi niko say I think almost na nika wako kwa hiyo group nilizua siku nyingine naambia watu siamini ni wasanii mnakujanga hapa mkidia daily play KE music, alafu ile siku wa Kenya wana need kuongelea mmenyamaza nyi wote, na baadaye unaweza kila mika waliongea story wote.
That is true.
Wote.
Yeah.
And I remember Morara he called out Kenyan artists. And he called out Kenyan artists and told them that the mood of the country right now is not
feel good music.
Into feel good. They're into a revolutionary mode. And he was asking Kenyan artists to get into that bandwagon and continue and produce art that depicts what's going on in the country, the mood of the country, depicts the current situation of the country, basically revolutionary art. So what's your thought on that? Do you think that it's something that Kenyan artists should jump on and get to it, or do you think that that was too much to ask from the artists?
This question for me is really difficult, because it's like, I think it really depends on your convictions, you know, and that's really been my message this whole time. Because I remember during maandamano nilikuwa kuna video nilipost, kama mnaweza enda kucheki kwa page yangu, when I told people to focus on the mission at hand. I was telling guys, man, there's a lot of artists who came, not just artists, public figures who came kwa maandamano kuonekana. And I was like, you'd rather not come, because a lot of them derailed the movement. Walikuwa wanakamuka kupiga maselfie na watu.
Yeah.
So unapata kuna crowd ya watu wengi wamesimama Koinange Street na tunawanid hapo parliament. Unaget? So tumeluzwa wase wengi juu kuna watu ni bandwagon,
yeah.
Unaget? Na mimi na believe lazima uko na amini hiki kitu na unataka kuidundo uifanye. Otherwise kama unaifanya tu ndo uonekane. Yeah, and I think that's the problem with saying artists should just do it, because there's a lot of people who just do it to
be seen,
to benefit from it, and not necessarily because they even care about it, you know. But yeah, I do believe artists have an obligation to be the voice for the people. I don't think it's a must, but I think it's a great thing to be able to do, to speak for the people, to be a voice for the people, to have songs that will remind us of these struggles that we've had and everything. And I'll be honest, there's like a fine line between. So now, for example, it's different for me personally. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, damn. Now, I've been working on this album for a little over a year. I've put it out, and now this is the situation we're in. How do I go about this? Because I need to promote album yangu, but pia kuna stuff ina happen. Album ni investment, ni biashara, pia haiwezi enda tu ni pesa tumeweka, ni biz. Unajua vile tumesema music business ni biz.
Yeah.
But pia kuna hiki tu ina happen sahi. So how do I navigate through this thing? So me, I'm thinking things here about love, and it's not things I wrote a month ago, 2 months ago. It's things I've been writing for over a year and put them out. So where's the middle ground? How do I find myself in this? How do I market my music and don't look like I've cast a blind eye on this movement, or I don't care about it, But I think it's important for artists to be an instrument. However, there's those conflicts, and I know there's a lot of creatives in that space where, and my boy was saying, I was talking to an artist friend, and they were saying it's very difficult for us as artists because you see, for me, my job has to continue. I'm in the business of music, so I have to continue working, yeah, and I'm pushing my stuff out. So this is happening there, but I'm just like everyone else. The difference is my work is posted on social media. So mtu anaweza sema mimi ni tone deaf, but mimi katu yeye pia anaendelea kwenda ofisi the same way, bado anaongelea vitu zina happen. But sasa mimi siwezi do hivyo kwa sababu inakaa kama sijali. So I think there's a lot of people who are caught in between because they don't know how to go about it, to go about their work still, but still be an instrument or a voice for this. But I do think it's important for us to be a voice for the people, because pia mimi niko naambia say I think almost na nika wako kwa hiyo group nilizua siku nyingine naambia watu siamini ni wasanii mnakujanga hapa mkilia daily play KE music, alafu ile siku wa Kenya wana need kuongelea mmenyamaza nyi wote, na baadaye unza kila mika waliongea story wote.
That is true.
Wote.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. No, lakini your explanation yako is very good. Like it counterbalances what Morara was saying, because now we're getting the perspective also from
an artist. From somebody in the
as well as an activist.
Yes. And of course, like myself, I'd not thought about it that way, that mziki imepikwa karibu mwaka mzima. It's not something that you just created overnight and you're releasing it. Ni kitu imepikwa kama mwaka mzima. So I think, to me, the best middle ground, we're in that civic education environment. And I think, just as Morara says, whatever field you're in, whether you're doing the OneMicShow or whether you're an artist. Rona kama wewe sasa, wewe for example, wewe kwanza wewe you're a lawyer and you're also an artist, so there's so much civic education that is also needed within that space of artists. Wacha hata kwenda hata kwa watu wa villages na nini, even within artists there's so much civic education that they need, whereby they don't understand how what's happening is affecting your work as an artist, how much money you're gonna make as an artist. Wengi hawaelewi, and I think by trying to simplify that stuff is when people will be very motivated. Oh my goodness, I did not know that kukiwa na hii issue hapa inamaanisha that's a reason why like these CMOs are not paying us like they're supposed to pay us. So I think that's what Morara was talking about. But I think like this is a very good counterbalance to also understand that mziki pia ni kama tu kazi ya ofisi. Like other people were going to maandamano na bado walikuwa wanaendelea na kazi zao.
Because what was interesting was when he said what he said, it made me think. Let me see over the last, from when the maandamano started, that was in June, July, August. I'm like thinking, who has come out with any song or a song that you can say is towards the movement, towards the struggle, and Nonini comes to mind. And then I'm thinking, there was Bien, Tio Mio.
Yeah.
Then I'm thinking,
there's a bunch of people,
yeah. But you see, like, I haven't. Those are the Tio Mio nilisikiza yake jana, Occupy.
Yeah.
Of course, Nonini, we played his track here.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't say that even with Bien, I can't say nimesikiza nimepata, But
then, one thing, Uno, that I also like to tell people is that the songs that are revolutionary are not hits; they're classics.
Yeah.
No, agreed. That's
most of them are never hits. They are songs that the more that you listen to them, the more they resonate. They're songs that don't get old, right? These are songs that they're not gonna top the charts.
Nope.
But they're always going to be songs that you'll go back to and you're listening to. You're going to say it. I think the only person who actually did revolutionary songs that became hits was Bob Marley.
Bob.
Yeah.
He is the only person that you can say that has actually that, because everybody else who has tried revolutionary songs, they've always been classics. Bob was the only one who produced hits with revolutionary songs. So that is another thing. I think that's another. How can I say it? That's another olive branch to do to extend the artist. It's like that. Depending on the art, the traction might not be as fast as you want to, because even if you had during maandamano, the songs that were themes of maandamano were not maandamano songs.
They are not
They
maandamano
were
songs like
feel
Anguka
good
Nayo.
songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were feel good songs, right? Because people wanted to, like, despite all this, human beings like dopamine. We like happy feelings. Right? Utakagi kitu inakukumbusha stress. Wewe utakagi kitu inakusahawilisha stress. That is why we do drugs. That is why we drink. That is why we addicted to sex. That is why we love romance. That is why we like expensive things. Like, we look for dopamine. We look for things that social media. That is why we like things we can clown, things we can laugh. Like, we look for dopamine. We don't like things that remind us of our reality. Like, we like things that make us forget about reality. But then once in a while, if you have that something that keeps your fire burning, that reminds you not to forget yourself, Palumatoka, what you're suffering, what you're going through. That is what we need, and that is where the artists come from. So,
on that point, I like Mika's point, but for example, I like what you said, like hata huku jua hiyo ngoma ya Bien, for example. So, unaona hiyo time Bien anatoa hiyo song, Bien pia alikuwa na nini? Ana push album yake. Una get? So, again, what I said, you've worked on an album is an expensive thing, you know. It's a whole ass investment. It's very difficult to tell an artist also. And I'm saying this as someone who's even now still very active with what's happening. It's very difficult to tell an artist who's invested millions into a project, weka hiyo to the side, tunataka hii ingine.
Wow.
100%.
Yeah. No, I mean that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, and
so
that's why.
what I was gonna say is, it's you know, you do hear that, but then again, everybody in their own space can do something effective, you know.
Yes.
So like now, Charisma does not necessarily have to tomo a song, but he's been active. He was active. Uko ameenda kujificha. But it's no, you know, so it's out there, you know, it's there and it's known, you know. Amekemea wasanii wenzake, because yes, we do know there's some people who they started coming out after wamesalimiwa.
Yeah.
No, kuna watu wale na maandamano na mabouncer.
So
wanapiga selfie na wakatoka.
Yeah,
na wamesalimiwa. So
yeah.
you know, they're forever tainted because of that. And then there are other guys who have done that. But you're right, you know, Ali, you know, it's good to give, you know, like musicians grace, because, again, in their own time and in their own way, you know, or like Mika said, you know, it's not going to be a hit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a classic.
But the one thing that artists occupy, and that sometimes I think artists don't understand this, because sometimes artists also like divorcing themselves from the fact that, it's not our responsibility to do this. What sometimes artists don't realize is that they have a very big influence on the society. They have an influence.
Huge.
Yes, very big influence. Kids will see them and they will copy what they're doing.
100%.
They have an influence that even leaders do not have. This is the reason why. Why do you think during elections, why do you think politicians like using music and artists during elections? Have you ever stopped to wonder why? And this is what I want artists to understand.
Spangwingwi.
And people, and sometimes artists tend to get misused during this 100%. Period. So I think artists like Sauti Sol understood, and that's the reason why they had a pushback when their song was used by Azimio during the last campaigns without proper permission.
Yeah, because they understood what impact that could have.
Yes, they understand what impact that song can have. You see, you remember like those songs these songs that were being done, Tizjui Tano Tena, these things they have an impact on the society. So I think, unfortunately, artists, they happen to be in this space where it wasn't their plan to be there, but unfortunately, they're already there. They're influencing. So that's where they need to be. They need to figure out a way, because the influence is already there in moments like this, because these are unprecedented moments. These are historical moments. In moments like this, I would advise utafakari tu kidogo and try to figure out, of course I can't change a song, I can't change a project that I'm already putting out, but what is it that I can do, even if it's outside the music, to use my influence to positively impact, even if it's in a small way, to impact something. So be it the civic education part, be it the part where you can show support to people who are already out there in the forefront doing it, even endorsing an idea, even as an artist, going out and endorsing an idea, unasema, I like what Kasamuel is doing, I like what Morara is doing, or I like what Masitarus is doing. That in itself has an influence and has an impact that, Charisma amendorsed your idea, I think I'm also gonna take a look at it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I've really been keen on, like, not even just, I think it's just who I am, and it's something I've always been into. So mi nimekuwa hizi vitu zote, unajua ni jutu imekuwa a big deal, ndo maana watu wameona sana, but vitu ni msewa hizo. So I'll have stories on any posts on my stories about everything that's going on, tell people about things that are happening, update guys, and big up people who are doing certain things. For example, there's a guy called Willie Oeba, who's, I don't know if you guys have seen him on Twitter, amazing poet who goes matatus every day.
Yes.
Anaongelesha tu ase, na make sure tu na repost your story, ukimpea kasaik. Saa zingine, hata nilikuwa namuuliza, how can I help you, what can we collab in doing? Maybe you'd need more hands on deck to do certain things, just things like that, because there's so many ways to catch a mouse. See, at the end of the day, as long as you get to the end goal, you understand?
Okay.
And I think that's the point. And maybe in a larger kind of way, that's what Morara was saying. Involve yourselves.
Okay. So